Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
I want to do a little bit of an unboxing here. I'll show you what I got in my Kickstarter version of Defenders of the Last Stand. And I'll open the box with you. This came with it. I get these, I believe these are custom dice. Well, obviously they're custom dice, but I don't think this might come in the regular ones because I also have a set of 6-side inside. So it all rolls the same. It just has these little designs on it. The only ones that are different are these for the traps that one of the characters has. And the rest of them, they're all thematic. So the blue, the yellow, the red, and the green, which are the roadsters. And they kind of have the road kind of stuff on like a steering wheel or something. But all a little bit thematic. Add a little bit to the game. A little bit to the theme of the game. Not needed. They're just regular 6-sided dice with little designs on them. So here is the box of this super awesome, cool game with, thematically at least speaking, with a theme that I'm surprised we don't see more. It's just Richard Lanius, who's the king of theme, if you ask me. But man, that's an awesome, awesome Mad Max-esque. One of the bummers is you're going to use these action charts. There's only 2 in the game, so you'll be sharing these, which is okay because the players go one at a time. So you give one to the one guy that's going and one to the guy who's going next. So you can kind of look ahead. You'll memorize this pretty quickly. Any one person will have the rule book. Okay, so what we got here is a rule book. A couple characters on the front. It is a long rule book, but there's a lot of pictures, and I think it's fairly well organized for a thematic game. I didn't have any problems, but I had played Defenders of the Realm before. This is different, has some extra stuff in it. You'll see that when I get around to a full review. Okay, so let me get this out of the way, and I'll show you the board. This is a really big board, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get it all in the picture at one time. If you played Defenders of the Realm, you know that. But let me kind of zoom in here. Here's the Last Stand. This is where your players normally start out with and what you're trying to defend. Let me zoom out a little bit. You'll see up through here where these green tokens, there's no more roads. You just kind of go up through these icons. So... and then over here you have some radiation symbols, you have numbers. Now you have these white lines that are unpassable unless you're flying over them, and the dotted lines which you can go through at any time. You can see the red track kind of comes through here. You can just kind of see the board. Very thematic the way it looks, very cool. I mean, they just did an awesome job. You can see the earthers coming through here. Very cool. And I didn't even notice it, but you know, when I'm talking about this, I said earthers because I know who they are. It's not just yellow, which is really, really cool. And all these icons you see actually mean something. And you can kind of, here's a gambling site. You can kind of dumb it down if you were playing with non-gamers or if you were playing with, you know, maybe for the first time and just weren't used to playing this type of game. You could totally leave some of this out. I don't recommend it, but you totally could. So the board is great. It's big. You'll need some table space here. Let me show you a few more things. These are your characters you're going to have. I think with the Kickstarter, I have a few extras, but I'll kind of show them to you really quickly. This is Chant. She's kind of a zombie. So you actually flip her over to activate her powers. Everybody's going to have unique powers, which are here and here. And then you're going to have one if you use a karma, and they're going to have different stats here on the side. That's really what you're looking at for these guys. And they're going to have Old Man, who's one of my favorites. He's really good because you can give up a card, and you get rid of everybody of that color in a space. So if you played Pandemic, you're used to that guy. This is Hat. He's Bama's ex-bodyguard. Bama's one of the 4 bad guys in the game. Jake is a pretty cool guy. He rides on a motorcycle, so he moves around really easily, and he takes on the green guys really good. Rock and Roll is kind of a funny guy here. He's more of a bard, if you will. But he's kind of good because he defeats 3 people. It's very specific. With 3 raiders of a single location, your music spreads, and you can move a raider from an adjacent location. That's pretty useful. Midnight Riders is one of the favorite ones. When she's on a location with a leader, she can spend an action to discard 1 defender card with the gun icon to deal a wound to the leader. It usually takes 2. So that could be a quick way to bust out against the leaders. And she's somebody that you might want to pick if you're trying to win, maybe the first couple of times where you don't want the challenge to be as high. Not playing with her and not playing with Old Man will increase the difficulty if you ask me. These two guys, especially together, make the game quite a bit easier, or at least put you in the right position, if you ask me. Your mileage may vary. So Calendar, he's a mutant seer. It's a pretty neat little character. Frank is kind of neat because you get those extra dice and you get these traps that you set up. And you can play these at the beginning on your current location. And when the road gangs or techies appear on a location, remove the trap and immediately make an attack roll. So you can kind of leave these traps out around the board, and when they go there, you can kind of fight them. So, and there's different dice rolling here on the left. Josiah, or however you pronounce that, he's cool because he flies around. So where we had Jake, who rides a motorcycle, so usually you can only move to an adjacent space when you move. He can move 2 locations anytime you use a motorcycle. Well, he can use the hand glider, so he can go over those white walls I was telling you about, and he moves 4 every time he moves instead of 1. Very, very cool. And he can also attack adjacent, which is neat. He gets a -1 modifier, but that's still neat to be able to attack adjacent. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, in the Kickstarter, I got 10. I don't know what's going to be in the the one that you'd buy cool stuff or Fun Again or somewhere, but we were able to get 10 of those. I'm going to show you some of these minis now. So, these are the bad guys. I'll show you what I think are the coolest ones, which are Bama's group. And what you're going to get for this is a motorcycle and a little miniature, and they come separated for no game purposes. I'm sure it was something to do with their molding, but I haven't got mine painted yet. I'm going to get mine painted, but I definitely wanted to do this review first so you could see. I think these are going to paint up great. They didn't spare any expense on this, if you ask me. I think these are wonderful for my taste anyway. But it was just kind of neat how they come on. So sometimes we put them riding backwards, or we can do cool things with them just kind of fooling around. But that's fairly neat. Let me show you the Earthers. These guys are immune to radiation, which is kind of cool. And they look kind of like elves because they have their bow and arrow, right? That's my thoughts. But they're pretty neat. So all like the minions that you get will be the same. They're all going to be the same mold, which is pretty good. So here's the techies. You can take a look at this. And a lot of details on this guy. It's going to be really cool when he's all painted up. So these are the techies. And I assume they're desert people because of the hats they're wearing and the mask, and they're in the desert. So, and you can kind of see here in the video, you're going to get a whole bag of these. You're going to get a ton of these. The numbers are important because when you run out, you need to put one on the board and you can't, you will lose. And here's what's called the monstrosities. They work a little bit differently. I'll show you this when I do a full review. They kind of sit on the board like this, but these are monstrosities, and they're going to play a little bit differently than the other ones. You're going to get a deck of cards that you will randomly flip and tell you how these guys move and what they do, while the other ones are fairly simple. Okay, so let me just show you some random tiles here. I showed you. So this is the adventure tile that we place on the board. Just gets put there. It's kind of neat. It looks like a first player token, but it's not. It actually goes on the board. If you played Eldritch Horror, it kind of works like that. You get these little karma tokens. You will collect these. Pretty nice. These are blockades. You can actually see the cars on them. Very neat. And you'll place these up around the board to try to block. And then these are the scavenge tokens. These are pretty simple. You're used to these. Nothing thematic on them, but they go on the board and you'll flip them over. Sometimes they'll say nothing. They'll give you artifacts, things of that nature. And you'll be able to get extra stuff through those. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, so we got these oil derricks. These are wooden. And once again, this is the Kickstarter version, so I'm not sure what it's going to be like in the version you buy at the store. I assume it'll be the same, but I don't know that to be a fact. So these will sit on the board just like they're oil derricks. So they will sit just like this on the places. And there's a certain number, so if you run out, you would lose the game. But these just kind of sit here, and they represent where oil is coming out. So those are pretty neat, and they're very nice and very thick wood. Now the game comes with technically 3 scenarios, but really there's just 2. The third one is just the regular game, kill the 4 leaders. But these kind of come on the thinner paper, but it's fine because you literally just set it apart on the side of the board and you just read it when you need to do. I'm kind of hiding this from you to keep spoilers away, which is why I'm moving it. I don't want you to have those spoilers. And then you can get 4 bad guys. Now, I'm going to spend a second on these. This is Bama. He's the leader of the Road Riders. He's more like Mad Max type bad guys. If you saw the new movie, give him a number of energy that he has or health. Now this will be different based on the scenario. So you won't always just start on 7. You might start on 6 or 4 or something. There will always be combat skills that will be with him. And then if you get beat or you get defeated, then this would happen to you if you don't defeat him. Crank is the leader of the techies. Same thing. Little more thing. Now the thing about the techies, and I learned this the hard way when the book talks about it, is, man, strategy-wise, you probably want to start with these guys because there's a deck of cards that will be drawn with him every time he finds more technology around the board, and this guy can go from the weakest to the strongest very quickly. And then you have Puke. You look over here on the side, tells you what you have to roll to hit them. Then you have Puke. Same thing: combat score, Rangers defeat, and a health track. And he leads the monstrosities, and the monstrosities work a little bit different than the other raiders. And then you have Bramble. Now these guys, the Earthers, they're immune to radiation. He's on this big thing. I'll show you the minis in a second. But same thing, a health track, a combat skill, and a Ranger's defeat. And you get 4 of these. If this is going to be anything like Defenders of the Realm, I'm sure there'll be a lot more of these as time comes. And I'm looking forward to that, as I really, really like this game quite a bit. It lived up to my expectations. I'm giving that away just a tad here. So you get these 4 reference cards on how to beat the bad guys, the raiders, and the monstrosities. These are just reference cards. You'll never shuffle these, and these just help you remember. These are the tech cards I was kind of telling you about. So the red boss, every time he gets finds technology, he gets an extra power. Rangers may not use skills, mission rewards, karma. If Crank is not defeated when attacked, advance in 1 location. Before combat, each Ranger takes die 3. And there's some of these that say, which I thought was hilarious. Let me see if I can. Cool clothes. Cool clothes offer Crank no special ability. This look good. Brass buckle offers Crank no special ability. It's just ugly. So a little bit of humor there from the designer, Mr. Lanius. Let's see what else we got. We also get, and these are fine. These are just like your regular small cards. If you don't like small cards, you get missions and specials and common and unique artifacts that you can get. And these are their monstrosity cards. So the monstrosities work a little bit differently, where each one is a different bad guy or character or whatever. And if you don't beat them, they usually move somewhere else on the board. But these are small, and you'll be grateful these are small cards. Those of you hate small cards, because this game takes up a lot of room anyway. And you're going to get a number of tokens like this. Depending on the number of players, it just tells you how many actions you have, and if you take a wound, then you lose an action. So you'd have this up until you heal or you rest. Let me show you some of these minis here. And one of the characters I told you about that had traps, these are the traps that you'll lay on the board. They're just tiles, which is really nice. So let me show you some of these minis. And these guys are just screaming to be painted. But I'll kind of go through them and just show them to you. Let me see if I can get some good lighting in here. Very detailed. These are probably more detailed than the Raiders are. Let me see if I can show each of these to you. These things are just screaming. There's Hat. And there's the motorcycle guy. Very cool. Look at that behind him. Alright. Very detailed. Look at that on the back of him right there. That's just great. He's gonna look very sharp. And when I get these painted, I'll bring these back to you. There's the rock and roll guy. See his guitar on the back? These are highly detailed, which I wouldn't expect. I know that the game designers have a lot to do with it, but 8th Summit, I mean, that's a great company. And you got, there's a trap guy. And then you got Richard Lanius, who loves theme. I'm sure he makes sure these things are done. It's great. Okay. Those are the minis. Sorry if they weren't enough time, but they're very good. So let me show you the bad guys. Here is Crank. So you get all of this down here that can be painted up to look great. And he's the king of the techies. Look at that. That's going to be so great when it's done. And here is Puke. Probably the greatest name of any bad guy. And these things are just fantastic. Each of them looks so different. And they're big and clunky. And they look great on the board. Bramble is very cool. I mean, each of these are so unique and so... Look how detailed that is. That's going to be beautiful for such a, mass market game. Not mass market, but, just a little miniature game. This isn't a miniatures game, a game with miniatures. And he just looks fantastic. Okay. And then you have Bama. Probably my favorite in the car. Very cool, right? It's going to be great with a mohawk. Look at that. Very nice. Okay. Then you got these little... wooden things. They just track the health of the bad guys. No big deal. You also get mutations. So if you get stuck on radiation, you'll have mutations like a weakness. Some of these might help you and hurt you. You get so many of these, then you turn into one of the bad guys. So that can be pretty neat. That hasn't happened yet in our play. These I added. These are second markers. So these did not come with the game. You get 3 regular 6-sided die that you've seen these a million times in different colors. You're going to get a few mission cards. I'm not going to show you these too much because I don't want you to have spoilers. And these are the adventure cards that you'll find. When this comes up, it'll tell you what location you put it on and then something you will do and have success or failure. I don't want you to read these because these are really cool when they come up and I want you to be surprised. But the card stock is great. No problems. I mean, all the components in this game are just out of the world. I have 0 complaints. Let me show you some of these. So these are the Defender cards. These are cards that you'll play. You'll have icons up that will mean different things. I'll show you that when I get around to doing a review. And then you're going to have the 4 bosses on these cards. So the icon, they can be played for the icons or they can be played to fight the bosses. If you play Defenders of the Realm, you're pretty used to that. And then you have the Raiders cards. This isn't a spoiler, so you can take a look at this. Kind of tells you how they move. If you play Defenders of the Realm, you're pretty used to this. You'd bring out 1 Earther at this one Road Gang at this. This is something that would happen. Usually it's the bad guy moving, the boss, and then you'd have something that would happen, like an event. And depending on where you're at in the game or how many leaders you've got, more of these will come out. But my point here, in the stock of these are great. I like the back of them. Very clearly listed that they're the Raiders cards. I like them very much. I wish the Defender cards had the word Defender on the back, but that's a minor moot point. Doesn't really matter. So that's the components to Defenders of the Last Stand. They're fantastic. They're wonderful. Everything you see is nice. I have 0 complaints about any of the components. They did an out-of-the-world job on this. Great job.